Sheffield is a city of football firsts. The first ever professional club, the oldest professional stadium in the world, the first ever floodlit game, the list goes on. Sheffield should be proud of its heritage. Blade or Owl, the Steel City has been a trailblazer for the beautiful game. In today's world, football is the most popular sport on the planet, and an even more profitable industry. Sheffield is entering a new era with many regeneration projects taking place throughout the city, from Castlegate to the Heart of the City project. With all the effort being put into revitalising the city's old industrial buildings, could Sheffield cash in on its rich vein of footballing history to really kickstart the regeneration in the city and the wider South Yorkshire region? To understand how football can help regeneration in Sheffield, it is important to look at the history of it in the city. The game of football is inherently linked to the history of Sheffield, just as Sheffield is linked to the history of football. Sheffield FC is the world's oldest football club, formed by Nathaniel Creswick and William Prest, after members of the Sheffield Cricket Club in 1855 started organising informal kickabouts for people in their spare time. Such games included Marry versus Singles and Professionals versus the Rest. They played under Sheffield rules, and from this, Sheffield FC became instrumental in the footballing world. They helped form the English Football Association. They played in the world's first football tournament, the Uden Cup, in 1868, and played in the world's first floodlit match at Bramall Lane in 1878. This shows just how rich the history is in Sheffield, and how two renowned clubs in the English Pyramid, Sheffield United and Sheffield Wednesday, rose from the advances made by Sheffield FC in the late 1800s. Sheffield FC have also received international recognition from football's governing body FIFA, with President Sepp Blatter attending the club's anniversary dinner, and Sheffield FC playing against Inter Milan in a friendly at Bramall Lane, with the likes of Marco Materazzi and Mario Balotelli playing for Inter. Furthermore, Pelé was in attendance and is also an honorary member of Sheffield FC, and he's quoted as saying, "Without Sheffield FC, there wouldn't be a me." It is clear just how valuable Sheffield is to FIFA and the Stars, so shouldn't this history be shouted about in Sheffield as well? Castlegate is one of the many examples of Sheffield City Council trying to revitalise the city centre. Castlegate is set to receive $20 million of funding from the Levelling Up Fund to restore its reputation as Sheffield's ancient hub. The fund will also help create two new arts destinations in the city centre in a boost to Sheffield's creative scene, Park Hill Art Space and Harmony Works. It is clear that Sheffield City Council is trying to expand its arts and cultural sites within the city centre. I believe this is where Sheffield City Council should really take seriously the history of football and use it to bring in visitors from around the country to celebrate the real home of football, Sheffield. One thing to note is that there is already a National Football Museum located in Manchester that holds many great exhibitions and footballing artefacts. They also hold some of FIFA's own collection. Obviously the financial side of popular history is apparent here, with Manchester being bigger and stronger economically than Sheffield, but it seems bizarre to have the Museum of Football located only an hour and a half away from the real home of association football. Sheffield may not be as big, but is certainly an emerging tourist destination within the UK, being voted the second best city break in Europe, behind only Marseille by Time Out magazine. With Manchester recently introducing a tourist tax, maybe this is time to bring football back home. For many years, government policy has been to establish the Northern Powerhouse. This will be a perfect way to diversify the share of regeneration coming from London throughout the north, and to restore football to historic and cultural home. One key issue that must be taken into consideration, especially in Sheffield, is whether there is an audience for a museum like this. With the almost catastrophic failure of the National Centre of Popular Music in Sheffield, which is now the Sheffield Hallam Students' Union, popular history projects have to be carefully evaluated everywhere, not least in Sheffield, to ensure they are viable and they may avoid the same fate as the Music Centre. When trying to predict who may be interested in visiting a museum about football, Sheffield is in a unique position with two historic clubs in the city with large followings. Sheffield United, currently in the Championship and returning to the Premier League next season, have had an average attendance of 27,899. Fierce rival Sheffield Wednesday, currently playing in League One and vying for promotion to the Championship, have had an average attendance of 25,013. This provides a solid base of people who would have a vested interest in such a site, where they may not only learn more about the history of the game, but also their own clubs. Furthermore, the wider South Yorkshire region will be a captive audience. Football thrives in this area, with Rotherham, Barnsley and Doncaster all having notable teams and fan bases who may be interested in exploring the rich history of football in their region. would also allow them to experience a football museum without incurring the cost of a train to Manchester, which may prove more economically viable in today's cost of living crisis. It is also worth looking at the NCPM's failures and how they may be overcome. To begin, football may be an easy topic to convey rather than music through the museum medium, as football is much more of a visual than auditory source. Furthermore, Sheffield FC, United and Wednesday could all be able to contribute original artefacts of significance to each of their club's fans. With the regeneration of the city underway, the Football Museum would not suffer from the footfall issues that plague the NCPM, as all these projects would work together to draw in people to the city centre. One of the main proposals suggested the old John Lewis building could become the new Football Museum, located on City Square. It provides perfect location for such a venue, and it has also been suggested that the museum could be a multifunctional site with 3G pitches on the roof so people can play football, and a viewing area and bar to bring in a bit of extra revenue. Overall, Sheffield's history of football could serve as a boon to the local economy and the area. FIFA clearly appreciates the impact Sheffield has had on the beautiful game, so why shouldn't we demonstrate our pride in our local area and help regenerate the city centre at the same time? This is just one way popular history can help us rejuvenate Sheffield and make a fantastic day out for those who visit.